Thanks for stopping by my channel. I'm Rob, and today we're going to continue with this little game we've been playing. This is Spotify Roulette. This is a random Spotify challenge where I let fate basically determine a song from the top 50 on Spotify. Have to completely learn it by ear and transcribe it, I'll listen to it once, react to it in real time, and then I'm going to break down the chords, the structure, any important themes or anything like that, and transcribe it as if I had to play it at a gig this weekend. So I'm not going to be using any Google or tablature or anything like that, just my ears, my guitars, and then whatever number gets randomly selected for me. I was doing a random number generator to choose this number, but I decided to download a randomizing wheel. We're going to spin the wheel, we're going to figure out exactly what we're going to be playing today. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and do. We're going to get into spinning this wheel here. Alright, so this wheel has everything on it from Harry Styles to Zach Bryan to Billie Eilish, Alex Warren, Justin Bieber, Chappell Roan, The Neighborhood, Disco Lines, bunch of stuff here. I'm just going to spin this wheel and we're going to see what happens. Here's a song we're going with. Alright, we're going with Zach Bryan and Kacey Musgraves, I Remember Everything. I've never heard this song before. So we're going to pull it up, we're going to take a look. See you in a bit. Alright, so here we go. Zach Bryan and Kacey Musgraves, I Remember Everything. Is that right? I Remember Everything. I couldn't find an official video on this, so I pulled up just a lyrics video. Yeah, we're going to dive in here. Let's take a look. Okay, so yeah, there's some weird rhythmic hits here. I'm not quite sure what time signature we're in yet here, but we'll keep it rolling and find out. Sounds like 4/4. Beach towel dress on the drying line. Do I remind you of your daddy in his 88 Ford? Labrador hanging out the passenger door. Okay. Yeah, so I don't think I've ever heard Zach Bryan before. I may have heard of him, but yeah, I've never heard a Zach Bryan song. I know I've seen Kacey Musgraves on, some live performance show before. I don't really know any of her songs. But, this kind of, I was thinking this kind of has like a Mumford & Sonsy kind of vibe to it so far. We'll continue here. Let's see. The sand from your hair is blowing in my eyes. Blame it on the beach, grown men don't cry. It kind of reminds me of remember that beat down basement couch. His voice kind of reminds me of the country musician who's also an actor on Yellowstone. Gosh, I can't quite remember what his name is, but anyway, that's beside the point. Keep it rolling here. I'd sing you my love songs and you tell me about. It's definitely a mellow song. We got guitar, we've got some strings in the background, some maybe some toms with like a soft mallet. I remember everything. A cold shoulder, a closing time, you were begging me to stay till the sun rose. Strange words, come on out. This kind of has more of a little indie rock kind of vibe to it. Pictures in passing time, you only smile like that when you're drinking. I wish I didn't, but I do. Remember every moment on the nights with you. You're drinking everything to ease your mind. She's got such a pure voice. It's very clear. You're like concrete feet in the summer heat. It kind of has like one of the maybe a Irish traditional vibe to it.
No, you'll never be the man that you always swore. But I remember you singing.
Hear a little bit of okay, yeah, so we've got the toms continuing, heavy reverbs on the toms. Got one, maybe two guitar parts. I hear one primary guitar part. Little bit of steel guitar kind of soaring above the top of this song here. Definitely some bass.
A cold shoulder, closing time. You were begging me.
Two guitar parts here.
Strange words.
The snare drum sounds really nice on this track. Just nice and clean.
Pictures and passing time. You only smile like that when you're drinking. I wish I didn't, but I do. Remember every moment on the nights with you.
Cold shoulder, closing time. You were begging me to stay till the sun rose. Strange words come on out of a grown man's mouth when his mind's broke.
So far, I've only really recognized or noticed that one chord progression.
When you're drinking, I wish I didn't, but I do. Remember every moment on the nights with you.
Nice little string arrangement here.
Rod good whiskey's gonna ease my mind. Beached out dress on the drying line.
It's very open and legato there. Just nice little tom hits. I hear the slight bit of steel guitar in the background. It's still sticking with the same chords
I
here.
remind you of your daddy in my 88 Ford.
I got a squeaky chair.
Out the passenger door.
Okay. Alright, so we got a nice little country song going here. I'm going to go back. We're going to analyze. Basically, I'm going to be listening for the bass line. I'm going to be listening for the chord quality. I'm going to try to kind of figure out that rhythmic thing that's going on at the very beginning. We're going to figure out the overall chord structure. And then maybe we'll do some other stuff like decorative things you can do on the top if we get to it. But yeah, let's go back and take a look at this song here. Boom, boom, boom. Where's my pick? Do, do, do. Let's get this thing on first. Do, do. Goes down. Boom, boom. It's kind of what it sounds like there. Like an A. I'm gonna guess that sounds pretty minor. To a G. Ooh, that's pretty harsh. Roll off a little bit of that there. That doesn't sound quite right, but I think we're on track with the chords here, so let's continue. We'll pick that stuff out. It sounds like there's a I like Zach Bryan's voice too a lot, by the way. That sounds really nice. But yeah, it sounds like there's like a higher note that they're kind of hanging on to. I'm kind of going through the chords here. Maybe it's this C right here, the first fret on the B string. Yep. Okay, like, I think that's what's going on there. They're holding on, keeping their, it's kind of a pivot point, you know, between these back fingers here. Oh, playing the wrong notes here. A minor. and you would play, you know, a G chord like you would, only you'd be playing this C right here, setting it up for the C chord. It's not much different from when you're doing the whole DCG thing, you know, where you're keeping, you know, the D planted here. It's like that old Sweet Home Alabama. Only you're dropping it down. You're keeping the pivot point right here on the C. Okay, I'm starting to talk too much. Let's keep going here.
The sand from your hair is blooming mine. Blame it on the beach, grown men don't cry. Do you remember that beat down basement couch? I'd sing you my love.
Kind of practice your strumming over here, you know. I kind of got, you know, just keep the wrist loose there.
How your mama ran off and pawned her ring. I remember everything.
Kind of hanging on to that rhythm.
Cold shoulder, closing time. You were begging me to stay till the sun rose.
I think we have a B section, folks.
Come on out of a grown man's mouth when his mind's broke.
Hold on, I heard another chord. It kind of holds on to that before it goes back. Okay. Bow, 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 bow. Kind of sounds like a familiar set of chords that I think maybe some of us know. Maybe not in the specific pattern that I did a video on not too long ago. That would be my chord progressions video. We're talking about the 1-5-6-4, but that kind of sounds a little 1-5-6-4-ish. Only switching the chords around there here. I'm already talking again and I'm losing track of the note. So we're going to back it up a little bit. Okay, they hung on that one, bow, bow, but they were going back up to that. So, bow, do, F, do, do, do. Okay, so we got an F to a C, G, A minor. Okay, so I was thinking this song was in A minor. Basically, I think it is, but caveat here. I think technically we're in C major. And A minor is going to be our 6th chord. So the reason I think that is because of this chorus, this B section that we finally got. I'm very glad we got a B section in here. Okay, so if we are in the key of C, A is going to be our 6th chord, which is minor, naturally. G is our 5 chord. C would be the 1 chord. And then the chorus, bow. It really sounds like a 4 there, which would be F, which would be the 4 of C major. So 4, 1, G, which is going to be your 5 chord. Then we're going to the 6th chord there, A minor. I think that's what we're doing here. At least as far as the structure of the song is going on. Let's continue. This is a fun one. There's some interesting stuff in here. We're not just playing, 3 or 4 chords and just letting it roll and doing other rhythmic and other little theme variations going over the top. Like, so. Kacey Musgraves has just a beautiful voice. It's very clear. I think I've seen her on like Saturday Night Live or something. Very angelic. It's got a good feel to it. Still, I like the sound of that snare. Probably have like some fabric on it or something, you know, it's damp. Dampened, I guess. A little harmonization going there. And you know, unlike that Morgan Wallen and Tate McRae song, I don't know if there's any kind of pitch adjustment going on here. I know that I could definitely, going back and listening to that one, you can hear that vocoder pitch correction thing going on. That sounds pretty darn pure to me. And I'm not knocking on that. I know that's like a whole aesthetic thing with popular modern music. But yeah, this is a couple mics, couple guitars, and room with a bass player and a drummer. And a string section, potentially. If you, little quartet going. Do, do, boo, boo. I think, boom, 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 something like that right there. There's just, you know, switching it up a little bit on those chords. Keeping it interesting. The strings sound really nice on this track. We gonna hear the chorus again? Nope. Okay, that's the end of the song. Alright, so, you know, if somebody sent me this song to play for a gig this weekend, I mean, this one's definitely doable. You know, there's an A section, there's a B section. You're gonna wanna stay alert, and you're gonna wanna watch what the vocalists are doing, because you're gonna be following them. You know, look over, get cues from the drummer going into the chorus, but you're gonna feel it going into the chorus. But yeah, you know, you have the kind of, sort of, I mean, the rhythm is structured going back and listening to it there at the intro part. But it feels like a little more loose, or maybe just a slight lower beats per minute than when you get into the rest of the song. Or maybe they didn't record that part to a click track or something. Although I seriously doubt that. Yeah. Let's okay, so we have A section and a B section. All right, we've got 2 sets of chords. Okay, so that basically, you know, the intro part would be doing that, the chords, the A chords there, you know, which again are A minor, G, and C, and then you're kind of keeping your finger planted there on the first fret on the B string, and you know, that's going to be the 6th chord, which is minor, and then we have the 5 chord, and then the 1 chord, if this is in C, which I'm pretty sure this is in C here. Okay, and then B section, let's go into the 4 chord there, which is F. A doo 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 doo. A doo. Oh, G. Doo 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 doo. I don't know if that's the exact melody there, but something like that. then you set you back up going into the A minor. So yeah, F, G, or F, pardon me, F, C, G, A minor. There we go, get into position here. You know, it never fails when I'm recording a video. They're doing work in my apartment complex, or I think I hear some people doing some mowing outside. Anyway, sorry if that's bleeding through on the recording. But yeah, we're gonna put it in ink, y'all. What do we got here? Zach Bryan and Kacey Musgraves, I Remember Everything. So, I remember Zach with a CH, yes. And then Brian with a Y. I guess it doesn't matter too much for the purpose of learning notes in the video, but you know, I want to get it right. I want to do these folks justice here. Musgraves. Okay. Zach Bryan and Kacey Musgraves, I Remember Everything. We have a blank sheet going here. So the first chords, we have A minor. We're going to go A section. Then we got a G and a C. B section. Looks like we got an F, C, do, boo, G, A minor. So there we go. And you know, just for fun, I'm going to fill in the Roman numerals here. So that would be a 6. We got a 5 and a 1 for that part. We'll say this is in the key of C. And that is going to be your 4 chord, the F. C is the 1. G chord is the 5, and the A minor is the 6. There is a recipe for a hit, the 1-5 variation of a 1-5-6-4 there. So you're gonna find that a lot. You're gonna recognize that a lot. You know, familiarity is a very important key in making hits. You know, that's the formula. That is my theory. Actually, you know, I don't have any multi-million-dollar gold hits or anything, but you know, just from observing music throughout history, familiarity is a very important part of making hits. So, what's next? We got the chords down. We want to maybe count it out. You know, count out how long do we have here? Do we have this much in the intro section? You know, we have this much in, you know, Zach Bryan's verse. Then we have we've got the chorus part, which is the B section, you know, and then it goes back to the A section. Kacey Musgraves is singing, you know, and then they go back to the chorus, and I think they're both doing duet stuff there, you know. There's no real solo or anything. I don't really know if this needs a solo, you know. I think that, you know, obviously I'm biased, being a guitarist, I want to hear solos all the time, but, you know, you can do some nice little decorative stuff over the top. You know, you don't have to step all over what they're doing vocally in the song. You know, if you're playing this one live, you know, you're just going to want to maybe some swells. I know swells with some delay in the background. That's a real big country thing. Yeah, man. It's a pretty good song here. It's a pretty well-crafted song for a minimal amount of chords. And I'm really glad that we got more chords this time. Okay. I mean, I think that song would definitely be doable. You know, and got the chords right there. You know, I might just go back and write, you know, keep your eyes open, and for this part, or you know, write the overall structure. You know, intro, A B, you know, and then it basically ends there back on the A section chords. You know, and it just kind of mellows out and drifts off. But yeah, I Remember Everything by Zach Bryan and Kacey Musgraves. That's a pretty good song. You know, that's the second country song, you know, that the random generator has picked out for me. Although I did, you know, narrow it down to a few selections just to kind of, I don't know what I was doing. I just want to pick some stuff that I thought might have potential to it. Just based on the names and potentially the artists, even if I didn't know who the artists were. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up for this episode here. I want to thank you all for stopping by, and if you stayed to the end, thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I like to do this stuff. I also have some guitar educational stuff going on. I have a playlist saved for that, and then you know, we have some more interesting stuff coming up in the future too that I'm very excited to get into. But yeah, thanks again. Like this video if you think that helped, and leave a comment below if you have a song that you'd like me to check out, and maybe an artist that you'd like me to listen to. So I'd be happy to check it out and maybe do a video on that. So it's a lot of fun. I really like this whole Spotify challenge. It's a great, you know, you can do this at home. It's a great test for your ear training. You know, if you want to get into music and if you want to play guitar and stuff, and any music, any type of music, any instrument, you got to know how to use your ears. You know, you have to be able to dial in your ears with your instrument. It's very important. The beautiful thing about music is that you can learn by ear. You know, there are a lot of people out there who learned by ear who went on to do some just amazing things. And it's a necessity. And I think that, you know, this kind of stuff is important for you to go out and try on your own. And, you know, maybe I'm helping you to transcribe a song that you like or whatever, but I'm really excited to get into this series, and really excited to help people with their ear training skills and aural skills. You know, it's just such an important part of learning music and playing music. So you have to be able to do that. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling, and we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up. So, again, I'm Rob. Thanks for stopping by and watching this video today all the way to the end if you made it. I don't know how many of you did, but yeah. We'll see you on the next video, folks. I think I'm going to do one or two more of these random Spotify challenges, and then maybe move on to something else, maybe get back to it again. But yeah, thank you very much for stopping by. Hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time.